Now what we'll do is we'll start with the first topic, which is talking about assignment model. Now, assignment model actually talks about your uh, assigning of resources, responsibilities, job responsibilities. I'm sharing one this thing with you. A question. Okay, can you see this first question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, the situation here is a computer center has 3 expert programmers. The center wants 3 application programs to be developed. The head of the computer center, after studying carefully the programs to be developed, estimates the computer time in minutes required by the experts for the application programs as follows. So here you have 3 programmers, A, B, C, okay, and these are the 3 programs to be developed, 1, 2, and 3. This talks about the time which programmer A will take to complete program 1 based on their skill, experience, and abilities. So 120 minutes, you can say, okay, or 120 hours. The same job, same program can be done by B in 100 hours, and the same program can be done by C in 80 hours. Okay, now there is another program, program 2, which can be done by programmer A in 80 hours, programmer B in 90 hours, and programmer C in 110 hours. So this matrix actually shows you the time which a particular person will take to complete the job. Fine. What I will do is I will just copy this and we will start working around in Excel because it is easier to do it there. If we would have been in an offline session, then we could have done it on the board, but as of now, we'll have to do something there. So let me just start an Excel sheet. Okay, I'm just sharing the screen again. Is the screen visible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Now, if you are the project manager and you have to decide which job to be given to whom, okay, what would be your call? Okay, no response. आप में से कुछ लोग BMS भी किया है ना? They would have already done it. Correct? Yes, no. Nobody is there in the class? You all are future managers, correct? अभी सिचुएशन है, बोलिए क्या करोगे? Should I start taking the names?
Sir, whoever takes the least amount of time for the program, we'll assign that to him.
Okay. Okay. Good, Ridhima. Logic is good. Now, tell me whom you will give which job.
Sir, A, I will give program 2.
For A, you will give program 2. For
For
B,
B, uh, program, no, sir. So for C, I will give 1.
for C, you will give 1.
For A, I will give 2, and for B, I will give 3.
For A, you will give 2, and for B, you will give 3. Now, if I go this way, okay, A2, that means 80, B3, that is 140, and C1. C1 means 80,
80.
correct? So this translates to a total of 300 hours in which they will be able to complete all the 3 programs. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Any other suggestion from anybody?
Yes, sir. So Neha here. So
Yes,
I will give for C the first one.
for C, for C you will give the first one.
80.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Then for B, the second one.
For B, the second one.
And for C, uh, sorry, for A, the third one.
Okay, so if we go this way, so A3, that is
80.
110,
Sorry, 110.
and B2 means 90, and C1, that means 120, correct? And this gives me 320. थोड़ा ज्यादा हो गया बेटा, ठीक है? So that means यहाँ पर एकदम से फटाक से ये चीज बताना थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट है. एंड व्हाट आई ऑब्जर्व विथ बोथ ऑफ यू, ओके, आप लोगों ने लॉजिक यही लगाया कि किसको कम टाइम लग रहा है, करेक्ट? सी, when Ridhima started, she started with this and then she came to this, correct? आपके भी केस में what I see is आपने थोड़ा सा इसका लर्निंग लेकर के थोड़ा सा इसको ट्रेड ऑफ किया है, वेरिन, क्योंकि ये काफी ज्यादा हो रहा था तो आपने पहले इसको शायद किया, करेक्ट नेहा? एम आई राइट?
Yes,
वाज
sir.
दैट द लॉजिक यू अप्लाइड?
Yes,
ओके.
sir.
हाँ, फिर उसके बाद में फिर आपने जो सेकंड लिस्ट वाला पॉसिबल था उस हिसाब से आपने किया, ठीक है, फाइन. व्हाट विल डू इज, सिंस इट्स 10th, हैज एनीबॉडी एल्स ट्राइड समथिंग एल्स, सम अदर ऑप्शंस? I
Sir,
think you are too shy to talk out.
one combination like came in my mind. I don't know. I may be wrong, but
Why do you
we
feel
can
that you
put
are?
sir C180. We can put
C1 is 80, correct? Already there, fine.
yes, sir. A2 we can take 80 again.
C1 is 80, then A2,
80, sir.
A2, that is 80,
And after that, so B3 140.
B3 140. That is what Ridhima also did.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that comes to 300 only. Okay, now what is happening here is the logic that we are actually going ahead with is nothing but let us identify the least along the row. Okay, so for first program, जो सबसे कम टाइम में कर सकता है, allocated to him. That is what we thought, correct? फिर, so I would say that If I choose this one for them, then second program, this is the least, so I have allocated this to him. Third, now the problem is when it comes to third program, whatever that is left out, okay, is to be allocated to programmer B. And that can be very high also. And that is where we are actually landing up in trouble right now. So this actually helps us in understanding exactly how we logically think. Now, can we put the same logical thinking into steps so that we are able to identify the least along the row and the least along the column and then make an allocation? Okay, so normally the step one would be, say, I'll just reproduce the same thing here. And now what I'm going to do is I will identify the least along the row. What is the least value along this row?
80.
और इनको सबको वापस से हम वो करेंगे. So we call that as row minimization. So along the row, I will start with row minimization. So first row, which is the least value? 80, correct? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So along this row, 80 is the minimum value. I will subtract this from all the elements in this row. So it will very clearly show me a 0, which is easy to identify. So मैं क्या करूँगा, equals to this minus minimum of this. So let me just freeze the row so that I can drag the formula later. This will help me in dragging the formula in terms of, okay, let me just, so if I drag it like this, it will help me in identifying, sorry, problem. Let us not use a freezed formula right now, we'll develop it later, but abhi ke liye I'm just will freeze it along the column, okay, so that I can do it. So, right, 80 is the least value, 120 minus 80 is 40, 100 minus 80 is 20, and 80 minus 80 is 0. Correct? Yes,
Yes.
no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If I have to do it same for the next row also, so again the least value is 80 in this, and I will subtract this from 80, so I will get a 0 here. Here this corresponding cell will be 90 minus 80, that is 10. Here it will be 110 minus 80, so it would be 30, correct? So since I have already put up this formula here, and I can just simply drag it across, right? Correct? Eh?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
what I'm doing is just identifying least value from all the rows. In this row it was 80, in this row it was 80, and in this row it is 110. Now what has happened is I have got zeros in the places where it was a least cost. Correct? So along the row, now I know, okay, I can make an allocation for C1, A2, and then A3, but I cannot give the same programmer both the programs. Okay, so I should be able to identify the least along this also. Okay, अभी मुझे एकदम clearly दिख रहा है ये. So B2 should have been given. B should have been given program 2 क्योंकि उसको सिर्फ additional 10 minutes लगेगा. So हम लोग normally इसमें क्या करते हैं? First is we minimize along the row, then we minimize along the column. So ये जो है पूरा का पूरा without the values, ये values उधर क्योंकि फॉर्मूला था इसके लिए सब गड़बड़ हो रहा है. Fine. Now what we'll do is here we'll do it along the column. So we will identify what is the least value along this column and subtract it from all the cells in this column. So that will help me in identifying the least values along the column 2. Since we have a 0 here, it is not going to change. Least value is 0. So फिर भी just for the sake of completeness, what we'll do is we'll use this formula, this minus minimum of all the 3. Now I have to freeze the row so that the row doesn't changes. So since 0 is the least value, it will remain as 40 only. So if I drag it also still across, it will still remain the same. What about this one? Second column, 10 is the least value. So 20 minus 10 would be 10. In this cell, it would become 0. And in this cell, it will become
20.
20. I can just simply copy and paste it here. You can see the formula has actually helped me. Okay, so D11 minus minimum of D11, D13. So I can just pull it around. I have got a 0 here at the second place. And if I copy and paste it here, so I'll be able to get a 0 in this column also, which is already there. So hence there is no change in this column. Now I have a very clear indication of zeros. Correct?
Yes, sir.
This has helped me in identifying which job to be allocated to whom. So if I allocate C को job 1, program 1, A से शुरू करते हैं. A program 3, B program 2, and C program 1. Correct? What is the net total for A3? A3, let us look at this. A3, it's 110. B2 is 90. C1 is 80. What is the sum total? This is
280.
what Neha had done. Okay. So this way you will be sure in terms of which program should have been allocated to whom, so that we are able to get the least total time. Done?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Any doubts here? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. So can we go forward? Can we take up something more now?
Yes, sir.
I have already shared a PDF file with you all, which talks about exactly what all numericals we are going to do in the class, and it has some guidelines too, which will help you in terms of actually understanding what we'll be doing and in what sequence. Okay, I'll share the screen. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So here I have already indicated what all things can be done. Okay, so this can be used for assigning the resources or job allocation. ठीक है, work allocation वगैरह के लिए हम लोग काम मिला सकते हैं. Now the normal structure of this is in a tabular form, so that you are able to see things all at one go, and one job can be allocated to one person. So whenever we are talking about allocation matrix मतलब किसको क्या allocate हुआ, so normally it would be indicated like this. So if this is my time matrix, or we call it as time matrix, and I will have another one. This would be my allocation matrix. Why am I calling it as allocation matrix? Because this will only just tell me which job is to be allocated to whom. So I can say 1, 1, 1, and for others, or other, let me just put zeros to all and ones only to the one where I'm going to make an allocation. So 1, 1. This will be an allocation matrix which indicates that the job has been allocated. और इसमें हम लोग अलग तरह से वो करते हैं. Now what you can see is along the row, okay, there is only one single one. Along the second row, only one single one. Along the third row, single one. Along the columns, one. So what is happening is, this goes with that philosophy that one job can be allocated to one person only. Here we are assuming that job cannot be divided. In reality, we do divide the jobs also, but there are situations wherein the resources don't get divided. Okay, so in those cases, we always go for assignment model. Okay, as we go along, दूसरे और भी examples देखेंगे तो we'll come to know. This will be called as allocation matrix, and the one at the top is your time matrix. This can also be cost matrix. This can also be profit, revenue. Okay, market share. Market share का normally इसमें नहीं रहेगा, but वो सब अलग इसमें आएगा. Whatever the type of data that is represented by that matrix, we call it according to that. Okay. Now let us take up another one. So this is the reason why I have indicated 1, 1, 1, 1 here. Okay, and even this would be ones only. In case of a job, in case of assignment models, number of rows will be equal to number of columns, and number of allocations should be equal to either number of rows or number of columns, because there would be only just one allocation per row or per column. ठीक है? Methodology वगैरह सब कुछ यहाँ पर explain किया हुआ है. These are the assumptions which I was actually talking about. At the same time, what we are assuming here is every person is capable of doing all the jobs, जो कि reality में होता नहीं है. कहीं कहीं पर उधर भी problem है. So you may not have all the people capable of doing all the jobs. So these are some of the methods which you actually use. The method which we have talked about is actually Hungarian method. It was the easiest one which we had taken just now, only just to understand exactly how it flows. But there could be a situation wherein you may land up in a tie kind of stage. So whatever that is provided here is provided for so that it helps you for you. Okay, so एक बार just देखना, but इससे best है ये पढ़ के normally still कई बार लोगों को समझ में नहीं आता है, so it's always better you refer to the video that will be recording also. Okay, ये सारे steps वगैरह सब पूरे दिए हुए हैं books में से जैसे रहते हैं. What we'll do is we'll take up this one. थोड़ा सा जरा अभी difficulty level एक एक करके बढ़ाएंगे. Fine. So a department has 5 employees with 5 jobs to be performed. The time in hours that each man takes to perform each job is given in the effectiveness matrix. आपको ये पूरा डेटा दिया हुआ है. Now, how should the jobs be allocated? One per employee so as to minimize the total man hours. ये आपका man hours दिया है, इसको कितना टाइम लग रहा है. Okay, since अभी तक वो 3x3 मैट्रिक्स था, it was easy. अब ये 5x5 मैट्रिक्स है. We have got 5 jobs and we have got 5 employees और आपको उसको allocate करना है. Fine. So we'll again go back to our drawing board, that is our Excel sheet. Let me just, you can do it using pen and paper, or anyway, I will be teaching you the other method also. This is my, just an example. This would be my example one from the sheet. And the minute I have pasted my data from PDF, this is how it looks. Okay, बहुत ही पूरा उसका कचरा हो गया. So the only good part is so I will have to reconstruct it. Fine. So let me just reconstruct so that copy. Putting it in the transposed form. I have my jobs here. Okay, these are my employees. I'm just reconstructing the matrix so that it is easy for me to work around. So I'll just copy and paste them one after another. So since I have copied it from a PDF, it has not come up properly. Think, just a second. There is some problem. I pasted it, but it was not showing it properly.
Hello, sir.
Yes, there is some problem. Just a second, because whatever changes that I am doing, it is not showing it to me. Just a second. Hello, just a second. I had to restart my Microsoft Excel. Something went wrong there.
Sir, I wanted to ask, is it possible, like, if there is no change after, like, when we are calculating the column minimization, so is it possible that there will be no change, like there will be no difference between the row minimization and the column minimization?
Yes, there are situations wherein you come along like this. When you have a zero in every row and every column.
Yes.
So in that case, when you go for column minimization later, you will not find any change. At the same time, the objective of row minimization and column minimization is only just to identify a zero. Okay, that means the least cost cells. So it's not mandatory that you should be doing row minimization first and then column minimization later. You can also start with column minimization first and then you can take up row minimization also. So it doesn't matters actually.
Okay, sir.
Okay, but whatever that you practice, just follow it sincerely all across. Okay, if you are doing, if you are always starting with column minimization first, so always just follow the column minimization first. Here it is. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So what we'll do is, this is my cost matrix, or rather, no, sorry, it is my time matrix, correct? I have my employees here and jobs listed on this side. Now again, I will be starting with the first thing, that step one would be row minimization, correct? So I will redraw my matrix. And I will have values which would be, let us see, इस बार हम लोग चाहिए तो रो मिनिमाइजेशन की जगह पहले चाहिए तो कॉलम मिनिमाइजेशन करते हैं, ठीक है? सो देखते हैं क्या फर्क पड़ता है. फर्क वैसे कुछ नहीं पड़ेगा, विल बी गेटिंग द सेम. नाउ अलोंग दिस कॉलम, okay, I need to have the minimum value, correct? So equals to, this needs to be subtracted with the minimum value. Minimum value is 3. तो जब मैं इसमें से minimum को subtract करूंगा, so minimum of so 10 minus 3 would be 7. 3 minus 3 would be 0. 10 minus 3 would be 7. 7 minus 3 is 4. And 7 minus 3 is 4. So I have got it perfectly right. Now the next thing that I can do is, the best part with working around using Excel is, आप बस सिर्फ जस्ट इसको ड्रैग कर लीजिए, आपको बाकी इसका भी मिल जाता है. See, can you see this? It is referring to the, because of relative referencing. ठीक है? So column minimization would be easier while doing it. So यहाँ पर अगर मैं देखता हूँ, the minimum value is 5. So 5 minus 5 would be 0. 9 minus 5 would be 4. 7 minus 5 is 2. 11 minus 5 is 6. And 9 minus 5 is 4. So I've got the values perfectly. And all I need to do is just drag it across, and I've got zeros all around. अभी इसमें मेरे पास में first row में I have 1 0. Second row I have 1 0. Third row I have a 0 here. Fourth row I don't have a 0. Fifth row I don't have a 0. This says that I need to go for row minimization anyhow. Okay, so are we following?
Yes, sir.
Sir, when I'm extrapolating, तो मुझे values
Yes.
अलग आ रहा है.
हाँ, तो शायद कुछ फॉर्मूला में गड़बड़ हुआ होगा. Let me show you the formula. I think
जो 1 का है ना, that it is coming perfect of column 70744 only I am
हाँ,
getting.
उसके बाद में what I would suggest, Anish, just press F2 here. Are you getting similar this thing? आपका ना प्रॉब्लम हो रहा होगा ये इसका डॉलर सिंबल का. Just check.
Yes, sir. Fixing it. Again.
डॉलर सिंबल का ही प्रॉब्लम था. Did you get it?
Sir, just a second.
हाँ.
Yes, sir. Now I'm getting it.
Now you are getting it. What about others? Is everybody else getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
इसमें एक और तरीका है which you can use to see all the formulas at one go. Control and tilde. Can everybody see all the formulas?
Sir, control color.
Control and tilde. Tilde button is exactly on the left hand side of number 1 button.
So we can do this in the
Wave
notebook
like,
as well, right?
like symbol there. Yes, sorry.
We can do it in the notebook as well, right? If we don't want
Yes,
to do
you
it
can,
next.
you can do it in the notebook also. Whatever that you are comfortable. That's the reason why I'm explaining the logic also. Okay.
Yes.
In Excel, there is a much easier method of doing it that I will see later. Most probably we may not be able to do it today, but in the next session, definitely yes, we will be doing it. Done. Control tilde if you press again, so all the formulas will be hidden. Now, after this, the next thing is you have to do row minimization. That means I'll just copy the table so that I don't need to redraw it. वही अगर आप मैनुअली करने जाओगे तो आपको पूरा रीड्रॉ करना पड़ता है, तो that's a problem. Okay, now what I will do is I will put a value here, which is I will subtract minimum of this row A, from this value. So minimum is 0. Okay, because we have a 0 there. So if I subtract it also, there will not be any change. It will remain as it is. So एक तरीका ये है कि आप paste as values करके उधर पर same values डाल सकते हो. ठीक है. So but वो formula based नहीं रहेगा. ठीक है. So आप यहाँ पर just paste as values करके डाल दिया. अभी जो 2 रो है जिसमें अपने को चेंजेस करने हैं, बस उनको चाहिए तो आप हटा दीजिए. ओके, सो दिस इज वन मेथड. ओके, अब इसमें मैं क्या करूंगा, आई विल subtract the value of this cell from the minimum value along the row. It is 4 itself. ठीक है. So अभी इसमें से least value is 4. So 4 से ही 4 subtract होगा. This becomes 0. What about this one? Second cell, 6 minus 4. So यहाँ पर equals to this value minus, okay, minus minimum of the values along the row. So मैं इसमें कॉलम को फ्रीज करूंगा. ठीक है. ब्रैकेट क्लोज, एंटर. So 6 minus 4 will be 2. 7 minus 4 would be 3. 5 minus 4 will be 1. And 10 minus 4 would be 6. इधर तक ओके है? हेलो?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now, अभी ये जो next इसमें है, next row, the least value is 2. So 4 minus 2 would be 2. Here, again 4. 4 minus 2 would be 2. Here, 8
Four.
minus 2 would be
4.
6.
Sorry, 2, 6.
Correct? Then 2 minus 2 would be 0. And 10 minus 2 would be 8. Correct? मैंने एक्चुअली अभी इस बार फॉर्मूला वगैरह वो सब कुछ नहीं किया, सीधा कंट्रोल डी प्रेस किया, सो दैट आई एम एबल टू कॉपी द वैल्यू, कॉपी द फॉर्मूला ऑफ द अबव सेल. ठीक है, तो मैं चाहता तो इसको पूरा सेलेक्ट करके ड्रैग भी कर सकता था. अब ऊपर का भी फॉर्मूला बेस्ड कर सकते हैं हम लोग, चाहिए तो जस्ट पुल कर दीजिए. नो वैल्यूज विल चेंज. अर्लियर इट वाज hardcore value, but now it has got converted into formulas. Now let us see, do we have a 0 in all the rows and all the columns? So we can start with allocation. So हम एक काम करते हैं, allocation के लिए हम square box को यूज कर लेंगे, कुछ इस तरह का, और इसको ट्रांसपेरेंट कर देते हैं, थोड़ा अच्छा दिखेगा. थोड़ा सा उसका थिकनेस बढ़ाता हूं, सो दैट इट इज विजिबल टू ऑल. ओके, नाउ फर्स्ट रो, फर्स्ट 0, आई विल मेक एन एलोकेशन हियर. अब इसमें शेप फिल में नो फिल कर देंगे, सो इट वुड बी विजिबल ट्रांस. इसको थोड़ा बड़ा करते हैं ताकि हमको वो दिखे. Fine. Are we able to see the allocation now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First row में मैंने A2 ये वाला allocation किया. Second row, I have only just 1 0, so I can make an allocation here. Correct? Third row, I have multiple options available. So since there are confusions, let me not take an allocation there. I'll have to move forward. Okay. If I go to this, I have only just 1 0, but ये वाला मैंने already employee 1 को मैंने job भी दे दिया है. So employee 1 cannot be given another job. So I cannot make an allocation in this row also. Then I will move over to the third one, to the last row. So along that row, I will be able to make an allocation. I have a 0 here, that is E4. So I will be making an allocation there. Sorry. So along the row मेरा allocation हो गया है. Now I will start doing it along the column. So first column I have an allocation, forget it. Second column I have an allocation, leave it. Third column I have 1 0 here, so I can make this as an allocation. Correct? Now since I have already made an allocation here, it is very clear that some of the cells I cannot make allocations. Okay, so we'll just put a cross there. Okay, ये cross एक अलग से बना लेते हैं, and I will be using the
सर
same thing.
मतलब only 1 0 should be there, na, in every column.
We should have only just 1 0, but since we have multiple zeros, so हम एक जगह पर allocate कर पाएंगे, कहीं पर नहीं कर पाएंगे. So अभी उधर पर होता तो हम इजीली कर सकते थे फटाफट, बट ठीक है. अभी यहाँ पर ऑनलाइन में
different values for row minimization.
सॉरी,
So I'm getting different values for row minimization. I don't know why.
कहीं पर कुछ शायद आपका बेटा फॉर्मूला में कुछ मिस्टेक हुआ होगा या इसमें.
Okay.
Normally after row and column minimization, this is what you will get. Whether you do row minimization first or column minimization, this is what you will get ultimately. ठीक है. So अभी जब first row हमने किया allocation, there was only 1 0, तो fine. Second row 1 0, fine. Third row I have made an allocation here. Okay. So if I make an allocation there, so I cannot make an allocation here later. Neither I can have an allocation here. Correct? Correct, na? And since I have already made an allocation there, so I cannot have an allocation here also. So आप इसको ऐसे चलेंगे row wise. एक second.
सर नहीं तो एक काम कर सकते हैं ना सर,
क्या?
बॉक्स को सर वो हम लोग फिल कर सकते हैं ना विद कलर क्रॉस.
हाँ, बॉक्स को फिल विद कलर भी फिल कर सकते हो, बट नॉर्मली जब कोई आदमी वो मैनुअली कर रहा होगा ना, तो वो बेचारा उधर पर फिल नहीं कर पाएगा. सो दे हैव अ चॉइस, उसको राउंड कर दें या बॉक्स बना दें, समथिंग ऑफ दैट सॉर्ट. ओके. सो आई एम जस्ट यूजिंग दिस मेथड सो दैट लाइक कोई भी आदमी जो भी कुछ कर रहा होगा, स्टिल दे शुड बी एबल टू डू इट. ठीक है. ओके, सॉरी कुछ ज्यादा ही हो गया. फाइन. अभी इधर पर अपने पास में प्रॉब्लम क्या हो गया कि job D didn't got allocated to anybody. Correct? So
Yes,
what is the way out?
So we can take C ka fifth one, and for D we can take the third one.
C का fifth one और D के लिए third one. Logically, very good idea. Perfect. Actually, that will give you a solution. Okay. Now, अपना इसमें जो methodology, Hungarian method जो बोलता है, according to that, there are different methods which can be actually used, and what they have suggested is, इसमें एक method है wherein just a second. One method is कि आप उसको lines से cover करके जो भी है वो direct सीधा सा lines वाला एक method है, and there is the other method is which I have indicated in my notes also. जो that method is even used by IITs and IIMs. Okay, so which I have indicated in my notes. I will show you both. ठीक है. So हम इसमें क्या करते हैं? We always try to cover or rather try to find out which is the next least cost cell which can be considered. What Jensen said, almost the same, but वहां पर अगर आप इतने सारे जब होते हैं तो it becomes difficult for you to actually identify. यहाँ पर तो फिर भी minimum 5 by 5 मैट्रिक्स ही है, we can also have 50 by 50 matrix too. Okay, so manually उस वक्त नहीं किया जाता है. I will teach you that method also, which you actually apply at that time. Okay, but यहाँ पर के लिए हम क्या करेंगे? We'll draw horizontal and vertical lines, okay, through the row or column which has maximum number of zeros. So now if I look at here, I'll just keep a line ready, which I'll be using it later. Now, here, if I look at this column, it has got 2 zeros. This has 1 0. This has 1. This has 2. And this has 0. Only 1 0. And if I start looking at it row wise, then this is the one which has 3 zeros, which is the maximum number of zero. So what I will do is I will use this line to cover this row. Fine. Is it visible? इसको black कर देते हैं. Is it visible clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, after this,
sorry, sir. Can we, sir? Can you say the reason again why we crossed this whole row?
I will tell you. See, what we want to find is we want to identify the next least cost cell. If I am not able to allocate in the least cost cell, then can I identify a cell which is slightly higher than that? Okay, a cost cell which is slightly higher than that. By this method, you will be able to see that very clearly. What Jensen did was logically, okay, what we are doing is mechanically. That means मेरे पास दिमाग ही नहीं है, मैं बस ऐसे ही करूँगा, ठीक है? I'm not able to identify. There is a confusion. Okay, so now since I have already done this, I have covered 3 zeros. Now the next thing is I have got 2 zeros. Okay, next highest number of zeros is 2 and it is in a column 1. Correct? So मैं इसका just copy लेता हूँ, यहाँ पर रखूंगा और इसको डन. मैनुअली आपको करने के लिए बहुत ही आसान हो जाएगा, फटाफट सीधा सा लाइंस ड्रॉ कर सकते हो. यूज पेंसिल टू डू दैट. फाइन. Have I covered all the zeros? Still 2 more zeros are uncovered. We have to keep on drawing lines till the time we have not covered all the zeros. ठीक है? So अभी इसमें ये एक जीरो एकदम से अलग है, तो आप मल्टीपल जीरोस उसको कवर नहीं कर सकते. You cannot draw diagonal lines. You can draw only horizontal or vertical lines. So we'll try to draw minimum number of lines with which we are able to cover all the this thing, all the zeros. So now the other way is I can either take it vertically, okay, here as well as here, or I could have done it horizontally also. And while doing that, see very clearly the next uncovered cells, okay, least cost cell from the uncovered cells is 3. That is what Jensen did at that time, correct?
Yes, sir.
So अभी आपको ये एकदम से clearly दिख रहा है. What is the next step that we do is, okay, I'll just copy this. I'll paste a copy here. अब इसमें वो okay, and I'll just remove all the allocations. Okay. I'm just removing this. Sorry. Fine. So what we'll do is now for this part, the cells where we have identified this is the next least cost cell, that is 3. We'll convert this also into a 0, but the rule says, okay, subtract this from all the uncovered cells. So here it is 3 minus 3. This is an uncovered cell, that is D3. D3 is an uncovered cell. 3 minus 3 will give me 0. Then the next uncovered cell is E3. So 6 minus 3 would be 3. The next uncovered cell is this one, E5. So 8 minus 3 would be 5. Here 6 minus 3 would be 3. 4 minus 3, 1. 14 minus 3 is 11. And 11 minus 3 is 8. Hello?
Sir, could you
In the
please repeat?
columns, you minimize with the most least number, right? For example, third wala 3 minus 3 0 and 6 minus 3 3, right? Like that.
Sorry, again?
Sir, from that row minimization column, in this column, like in the third column, you minimize with the most lowest number, right? Apart from 16 and 11.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 3 from, just a second. Whatever that I'm doing, it is not showing anything.
Sir, one doubt I had.
Yes.
11 और 16 को क्यों नहीं subtract किया?
किसको 11 और
16 को सर, from row minimization.
कर रहा हूं मैं, वो मेरा पता नहीं क्यों मैं जो भी टाइप कर रहा था was not getting visible. Okay. So 11 minus 3 will be 8. 16 minus 3 would be 13. Okay. This you will do it only just for the uncovered cells. And you will, the rest of the cells will remain as it is except for the cells at the cross section. So this one is your cross section cell. So there it will get added. So 7 plus 3, it will become 10. And another cross section, that is C2, 2 plus 3, that becomes 5. Then I have another cross section at C4, 0 plus 3 would be 3. Okay, rest will remain as it is. So that means here it would be 0. This would be 13, 11, 1, 0. Coming to this side, 2, 2, 4, 0, 7, 0, 0, and then 2. Okay, you will subtract it from all the uncovered cells. We call that as theta. Theta equals to okay. So theta value will be subtracted from all the uncovered cells. Covered cells will remain as it is, but the cells where you can see the intersection of the lines, there it will get added up. Okay. So आपका नया जो values मिलेगा would be like this, and again you will start with allocation. So just a second, let me finish
Hello.
this.
So Neha here.
Yes.
So one doubt I had, actually C2 was covered, right?
C2 was
Covered. So why did we subtract it?
covered, but there is an intersection, correct? C2, there is an intersection, correct? So
Yes.
that means 3 will get added at the intersection. That's the reason 2 plus 3 became 5, 7 plus 3 became 10, and 0 plus 3 became 3. So you had 3 intersections here, correct?
Sir, so then like we can conclude that जो intersection हो रहा है and which has been left, that they will get added, right?
At the intersection, it will get added. At the cells which are open, uncovered, there
They
it will
get
get
minus.
subtracted.
Oh.
And the ones which are just covered but are not falling in the intersection, they will remain as it is.
Sir, so theta is basically uncovered least number, right?
Uncovered least number. This is uncovered least number. Okay. Now we'll start with the allocation. Hello. So first row, we have single 0, we can make an allocation there. Second row, we have a single 0, we can make an allocation there. Third row, we have a single 0. No, we have got 2 zeros. So if we wish, we can just leave it for later. Okay. Here we cannot make an allocation because we have already made an allocation there. So in the first column, fine. Now here we are left out with only just 1. Okay. So either we choose to make an allocation here right now, or we can still come back later. But since there is only 1 0 left out, we can just simply make an allocation there. So one allocation. In the next row, we have got one allocation. And now if I start column wise, since I have already made an allocation here, okay, I don't need an allocation. I cannot make an allocation there. Now along the column, this is the only one which is left out, so we can make an allocation there too. See, we have got one allocation per row per column. Okay, so now we have got the least allocations, and we can go ahead with this, or we can finalize this allocation. Done.